Hi, my name is Naya and this is Mindful Movement. Welcome to our seated routine. For this routine, it would be helpful if you had a band, whether it's a loop band or a strap-like band. Generally, the loop band's going to work better for this routine, but we have an opportunity to use both types. And then also, if you'd like to use some weights, have weights available. Something generally lightweight is probably best. And if you don't have traditional weights, you can use water bottles, canned foods. You get the idea. I'll see you seated in your chair. Please make sure that you're not using a chair that has rollers. It needs to be stationary. And if you're worried about the chair moving on you at all, please make sure that there's something behind it to support it and keep it from moving. For example, a wall. I'll see you on your chair. Let's get started. You're going to be seated on your chair about the last couple inches of your chair so that your sits bones are grounded down the chair, long spine, and both feet are firmly placed on the floor, toes spread wide. I come from a Pilates background, yoga, and we generally practice without shoes on. I would encourage you to do the same, although if you're more comfortable with shoes or socks on, that's fine too. I just like being able to spread toes wide and really ground down through the sole of the foot. So I would encourage you to try that if you're not familiar with working out barefoot. Okay, so to get started, we're going to work the lower body, work our way to the upper body, and kind of alternate back and forth between lower and upper body. That way you get a break in your upper body when we're working lower body and vice versa. So we're going to start with the feet. You're going to come up onto the balls of the feet, lifting the heels, and then bring the heels back down to the ground. And you're going to continue to lift and lower the heels. As you do so, lift your pelvic floor, draw lower abs back to spine. Shoulders are drawn down the back of the rib cage. Imagine that you're grounded down through the sits bones and that you have a string from the crown of the head reaching you up towards the sky, creating as much length in your spine as you can. If you feel more comfortable putting your hands somewhere other than resting by your sides, you can place your hands on your hips. And we're going to take up the pace a little bit faster now. And we're going to lift, 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 lift. Continuing here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we're going to draw the leg up and down, marching in place. We're starting off slow because I really want you to focus on using your core to support long spine. You'll notice that if you don't keep your core engaged, as you lift one leg, your body's going to want to hinge back. So really focus on keeping your rib cage stacked over your pelvis, long spine, lower belly drawn to spine as you lift one leg and then the other. If you'd like to add on more challenge, you're going to add your weights. So you'll continue marching in place, and as you march in place, you'll do little bicep curls here. And again, as I add different variations on, you can always go back to whatever works best for your body. So you might give something a try and realize, that's not really for me. That's fine. So as we continue here, you can keep your bicep curls as a traditional bicep curl, or you can draw your arms up. Elbows are almost in line with the shoulders, and you're going to curl from here. So we're going to go curl, curl, curl. Still making sure that you're sitting on your sits bones and that your rib cage is stacked over your pelvis, not leaning back, so really use your core here. These cans are cold. I just took them out of the fridge. So my hands are a little chilly right now. And 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And then we're going to keep our feet right here. We're going to use our weights or our cans, whatever you're using. Take your arms out in front of you like you're hugging a tree. Keep the bend in your elbows. You're going to open and close, and open and close, open, close. Be mindful as you're opening and closing, bring fists towards each other, that you're not allowing the rib cage to flare out, right? So you're using your lower abs to keep the spine in neutral so that the movement just happens at the shoulders. Shoulders are drawn down the back of the rib cage, stay long through the back of the neck, making sure that your earlobes are right in line over the shoulders. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your arms down by your sides. Do a couple little shoulder rolls here. And then from here, we're gonna go into lateral arm raises. So we're gonna draw the arm up and back down, up and back down. Good, and as you think about drawing the arms, wrists in line with the shoulders, think about drawing shoulders down the back of the rib cage, staying long through the back of the neck. And this can often be plenty of work around the shoulders without having any weight at all. So don't feel like you need to keep weight as you're doing the exercise. We've got 8 more here. Take breaks whenever you need them. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. We're going to give the arms a little break. We're going to work on the legs. If you have a looped band, this is a great time to use it. So if you're using a looped band, you're going to place the band around your legs. And again, remembering that you're right on the edge of your chair. This time you might actually even want to hold on to the bottom of your chair. You're going to start with feet sits bone distance apart. And then from here, starting on your left leg, you're going to draw the leg away and back to center. And away and back to center. Long spine, lower belly drawn to spine. Continuing on the same leg. And as you draw the leg open and close for abduction and adduction, you're going to think about coming right back to sits bone distance apart and then opening the leg as much as you can. Pelvis stays square in front of you, so don't let the pelvis follow the leg. Imagine you have 2 headlights on the front of your pelvis. They're shining straight in front of you as you open and close the leg, or open and bring the leg back to center. It's a better way of saying it, back to parallel position. And we have 5 more, and 4, 3, 2, 1. This will be a lot more challenging with a band. Let's switch to the other side. So the bands that I have, I actually got a little band series, and this is the lightest one within the 3-band pack. So if you have a variety of bands of different resistance, choose the one that's most appropriate for you for the exercise that we're doing. You can also do this without any resistance at all. And we're really working on this idea of abduction and adduction of the leg in the hip joint, which is why it's so important that the pelvis stays stable so that we can really get the movement from just the leg. That way we're targeting muscles that are supporting abduction and adduction of the leg versus recruiting other muscles in the lower back, etc., when we allow the pelvis to follow the leg. And we have 5 more here for 5. Open a little wider if you can. 3, 2, last one. Back to center. We're going to keep the band here. We're going to open both legs at the same time. So be careful with your chair. Make sure that it doesn't start moving on you. You might want to put it up against a wall or something to that effect if you haven't done so already. And we're going to open and close. And as you open, think about lifting the pelvic floor, drawing lower spine back. Open, close, open, close. And again, when I say close, what I really mean is sits bone distance apart. So you still have tension on your band. Here we go. Continuing here. So this is the basic version. If you want to add on more challenge, arms go up and up, kind of like a jumping jack, up. Good, reaching arms overhead, keeping shoulders drawn down the back of the rib cage. Nice work. Good, hopefully you're feeling your heart rate get up a little bit. Blood is pumping, oxygenating all your muscles, all the rest of the tissues of your body. And we have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Now we're going to do another set. If you want to add in your weights here, feel free to do so. If you're like, this is enough, then just stick without the weight. Here we go. Opening and closing. We're going to come just to shoulder height. Open, close, open, close. Beautiful, yes. Little bend in the elbow, long spine, neutral pelvis. Abs are working to stabilize pelvis and torso here, stabilizing the spine. Shoulders are dropped down the back of the rib cage. Good, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. You've got this. 4, 3, 2. Last one. Come back to feet sits bone distance apart. You can use your weights. I actually prefer a band for this next one, working rotator cuff muscles. If you're using a band, palms are up. And whatever you're using, even if you're using no weight or resistance at all, elbows are going to stay in by your sides. Imagine your elbows are glued to your sides. Your wrist is in line with your elbows, and your hands are in line with your wrist. So no breaking at the wrist. So I don't know how well you can see this, but we don't want to break at the wrist at all, regardless of what props you may or may not be using. All right, shoulders roll back, draw down the back of the rib cage, root down through the sits bones, grow the spine long. And from here, we're starting with hands in line with the elbows, and then we're drawing the palms out away from midline of the body and coming back to center. Notice my elbows stay glued to my sides. Good, and you should feel work behind the back of the shoulders here. And continuing here, keeping the wrists in line with the elbows. Nice work. Be mindful that you're not starting to flare through the front of the rib cage, so it's not this motion, right? Long spine supported by the abs. Continuing here, we've got 8 more for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We're almost there. I feel like I'm pulling my band too much. I'm just readjusting. 2, and last one. Lovely. If you have a band, you're going to take your band, place it overhead. Arms are in a Y shape, so they're wider than shoulder distance apart. Shoulders are drawn down back. Make sure you're not breaking at the wrists. And then from here, we're going to go into a side bend. So you're going to reach one arm up towards the ceiling as the opposite arm reaches down towards the floor. Make sure not to fall out of your chair. Come back up to your start position, switch to the other side. Stay long through the side body. Allow your breath to flare the rib cage open. Come back to center. We're going to do 2 more times on each side. Oh, feels so good. Ground down through the sits bones so that you're really getting as much of a side bend as you can through the side body. Don't let your butt cheek rise up off of the chair, even though it might want to. Oh, yes. And then coming back to center. Good. And from here, we're going to go into a little bit of a rotation. A couple different ways you can do that. I like to just grab one weight here. You basically can do this without a weight just by clasping your fists together. I like to have something to hold on to. Shoulders are drawn down the back of the rib cage. My elbows have a slight bend in them. And from here, I'm going to try to keep my coconut water or my weight or my fists in line with my sternum. So as I rotate, I keep long spine. Upper body follows my gaze. Arms are included in that. But my pelvis and lower body stay stable and facing right in front of me. Continuing here, making sure shoulder blades are drawn down the back of the rib cage. One more time to each side. And last one, last side. Back to center. Lovely. From here, you're going to grab both weights. If you're using weights, you can do this without weights as well. We're going to start with elbows bent, fists forward, palms down towards the floor. From here, we're going to draw hands up so palms are facing forward and then back down. So this movement happens at the elbow, and the head of the arm is rotating in the shoulder joint. But the upper arm doesn't lift, the bone just rotates. Beautiful. Continuing here. 5 more for 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Now we're going to start here and allow the arms to go down, kind of like scarecrow arms. and back up, and down, and back up. Keep your elbows in line with the shoulders. Good. You'll feel the work in the shoulders, no doubt. Good. Continuing here. 5 more for 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. And shake it out. Ugh. Good. Put your weights to this side. And from here, we're going to go back to that same motion, long spine, where we're taking the legs away and back together again. Starting on your right side, you're going to take the leg open and close. Staying on that side. Open and close. Good. Going back to lower body work. Open, close. Continuing here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side. And as you continue here, make sure you're not lifting the knee up high, right? It's not like you're creating a little rainbow shape. You're just taking the foot hovering about an inch above the floor as you open and draw back to center. Good. And 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take both legs open. So especially with the resistance band, it's challenging to keep the legs open like this. Hands are on your hips, you're lifting your heels and down. Lift, down, lift, and lower, lift, lower. Continuing here. Good. You can keep your hands on your hips, or you might choose arms go overhead and back to about shoulder height. And lift. Toes are spread wide on the floor. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Legs come to sits bone distance apart. Arms come in front of you. Shoulders are dropped down. We're going to do both arm and leg reaching out or away from midline. Starting with the left side. Open and close. Open and close. Open and close. One more time on this side, then we're switching to the other side. Open and close. Open and close. Nice job. We're going to switch it up and make it a little bit more challenging in a moment. Last time on this side. Now opposite arm and leg, alternating from side to side. And long spine, neutral pelvis, lower abs working. Good. Open and close, picking up the pace a little bit. Good. Yes. Ground down through the sits bones, long spine. Continuing here for 8, and 7, and 6, and 5, 4, 3, and 2. Last one. And go ahead and take off the band. Nice job. All right. Lastly here, we're going to think about curling the pelvis underneath us. In Pilates, we refer to this as a northern tilt of the pelvis. So this is a nice one to do sometimes when you're feeling like your lower back is getting a little achy. So you're just going to think about on your next exhale, lifting the pelvic floor and scooping the pelvis underneath you. So the pelvis curls underneath you and then come back up to stack on top of your sits bones. Exhale to curl and inhale back to neutral and curl and back to neutral. 2 more times, curl and back to neutral. Last one, curling, coming back to neutral. Then we're going to take our legs wide, take our sits bones a little further back on our chair, and we're going to bend forward, putting our hands on the top of the thighs, and let ourselves get a nice stretch here. So really stretching the spine long. If it feels comfortable for you, you can take your hands to the front of the shins, to your feet. You might even take your elbows to the inside of your knees spreading your legs a little bit wider. Long through the back of the neck, long through the spine. Send the sits bones back behind you. You might even take your hands to the floor, really lengthening through the spine here. Hold for one more breath. And then you're gently going to walk your hands back up your legs. Bring the legs together now. And again, you're going to take yourself forward, hinging from the hips, allowing the belly to rest on the top of the thighs. Allow your neck to relax, getting a nice stretch through the spine. If your hands don't come down to the floor, make sure that you ground them somewhere, whether it's the tops of the feet, shins, or thighs. And then on your next exhale, place your hands on the top of your thighs, around the spine. As you roll back up, hollowing out through the belly, stacking one vertebra on top of the other, as you take your gaze straight back in front of you. And we're going to do a little tiny twist here, taking our gaze over one shoulder, looking behind us, and then taking our gaze over the other shoulder, looking behind us. One more time on each side. Back to center. That concludes our seated routine. We got a little bit of leg work, a little bit of arm work, core work throughout the whole time. I hope you had a good time, and I hope you'll join me again. Have a great day.